Just mute and get this started. If you guys know of anyone that you're missing right now that you think should pop on our call, give them a little friendly nudge. There's a few people I know that was hoping to be on, but nonetheless, I'm grateful for all of you guys and just excited again for another amazing week. And there are some of the people in here right now that I just want to start out with some announcements and then some recognition, and some of you that are not, so you might just want to give those people a buzz if they are like your personally enrolled and be like, oh my gosh, like you know, Lauren's talking about you and like I'm so proud of you and like that type of thing. So if you guys have had any of your customers talking about like two issues, you know, we always want to keep it real positive with Isagenix, but with the new recyclable bags, there are some issues. I don't know if any of you got one that was busted or heard about it. It's a brand new thing, brand new product, but as you know, Isagenix is always on top of it. They're replacing it. They're doing extra things in terms of expediting stuff or throwing in product coupons, additional products. So just be patient with them, be patient with your customers, but that is a thing, and Travis is obviously aware and addressing it. It also seems that like customer service times are quite long right now. And that's actually on the VIP side too, not just the regular one. And a lot has to do with just this merger and all these new countries, and it's just growing pains. It's not going to be like this forever. So all of you that have ever called in and you know you normally get like immediate service in like 2 minutes and you're like, I've been on hold for like 45 minutes. This is not going to stay this way. It's not because we don't have staff or employees or anything like that. Just make sure that the communication is, you know, no rumors about what's happening, that it's just, you know, we took on like half a continent and it slows things down temporarily, but it will be okay and they're going to be fine. So while I have most of you a little bit of recognition, I want to give a shout out to Barbara, who is growing her international team. Super, super excited. It's always really fun when we expand into new countries. I want to congratulate two new directors, Kimberly and Kelly. Super, super exciting. Kelly also hit the 5-cycle bonus. Massive, massive week. Catherine hit Crystal Manager. And then, oh my gosh, you guys, the new consultants this week. Mary Beery, Freddie and Denise, Tracy, Lisa and Lori, Carly, and if I forgot anybody else, I apologize. But super, super excited, and just like it was super fun every time I opened up IsaPulse to just see the team growing. And I really want to give recognition there to Kisa and Jenny and Jules. Just amazing, amazing leadership there, mentorship, support, and it's so, so, so fun to see you guys just growing, and that is so exciting. So anyway, so with that, in some of the little bit of recognition, just so proud of you guys. And then some of you were popping on, but they were asking me, there is a team call next week. It will not be me. It's the day after my wedding, but Kisa is going to be hosting, and Jenny Thompson is also going to host the Work It call on Monday. So I am so grateful that there's other leaders and you guys get to learn from, but just because I'm going to take a day off doesn't mean all of you guys are still plugged in. And up until Friday night, you can count that I'm here and I'm working. And from Friday to Tuesday, if you message me, I will probably not message you back for the first time in my life. So anyways, a little bit about that. And then just a reminder, you guys, that Power Hour, we are doing those Monday at noon and Wednesday at 9. But that's going to be based on your attendance. So if you guys are getting on them and find them value, we'll keep posting them. And if not, no big deal. We're just not going to do them because I don't need to call in just to motivate myself to do my race outs. So hopefully you guys are finding those value, or if you say, hey, I really like them, but could we consider this time? Share that with me, because just because these were 2 times that worked during quarantine, as life is changing and people are out and about again, if that doesn't work, say, I really actually am interested in a power hour. Can you offer one at night? Can we do one earlier in the morning? Like if I hear from you, I will meet you where you're at, you know what I mean? Otherwise, like, I don't really want to do one at 6 in the morning, but if that's what works, I'll get up and I will be here if that's what you guys say is the popular hour. So please give me a little bit of feedback on that. And other than that, I think we can dive into this. So last week, we ended up having this kind of like really organic Q&A afterwards, and I was like, I kind of like that. And then Jenny kindly messaged me afterwards, and apparently her and Kimberly were like, we should do that more often. I can't believe that just happened, because I did it without them telling me that. And I said, well, let's roll with that for a while. So what you guys are going to see is our team call in terms of a topic is going to be around that 20 to 30 minute mark. And then I will stay on. And if those of you want to get off and carry on with your business, you can. And if you want to stay on for the Q&A, I'll just be here to be available for you guys and answer questions. And I'll try to give it a little bit of focus. However, if it goes on a different tangent, it doesn't matter. We can always cut the recording, and just want to have some live kind of interaction with you guys. So tonight, and if you see, even though like the Zoom and the recording and all that stays the same when I make the post, I try to give you a heads up on what the topic is going to be about. So tonight I wanted to talk to you guys really just about the Grow Week and like how you're preparing for that. What are you doing to get organized? Who's your accountability partner? Because I really want this to be impactful. And for those of you that weren't on the call last week, we're basically strategically mapping out Grow Weeks every 30 days so that we're rank advancing together and we're driving this line together. And so our Grow Week is going to be August 10th to August 17th, right? Like that is the week of just massive, massive momentum. And we're trying to create new consultants going managers, managers going director, right? Director going executive, 1-star, 2-star, the whole thing that whole week. And it works best when we lock arms and we really do this together. But if you're not prepared for it, all of a sudden we're going to be talking about Grow Week and it's going to fly by and it's not going to happen because we didn't get our ducks in a row. Okay. We weren't really organized. And so when I'm asking you, like, what are you doing to prepare for it? Like, number one is like just blocking out time in your schedule. I mean, for those of you that, you know, are full-time moms, like this is a week that you might say, you know what, hey mom, like to your actual mom, or like, hey sister, or hey neighbor, or whoever maybe you've been around in small groups, would you be able to watch my kid for a couple hours, you know, 1 or 2 days that week? I've got a huge goal in my business, because you guys know that having 2 hours of undivided time is so important, right? And you can get so much done than 5 hours where you're doing a little bit and your mommy and a lot of it, and you're trying to do a little bit and your mommy and a lot of it, right? Like just to set that up and say, you know, I'm going to block these times out, that you're committing to getting up earlier. You're committed to getting up later. You know, you've set goals with your family that you have decided, you know, I'm not going to watch a bunch of TV this week or whatnot because I'm doing this. Like getting really, really clear on your schedule, really getting clear on your goals, where you're headed, getting organized and talking to other people about it. So we all know that most goals don't happen because people don't take the steps required to allow them to happen. So like just thinking about it, right? Like, okay, I think I'm gonna go executive. Like you won't. Like that's just not enough, right? You can't just like think and wish about it like it's going to show up. So as you're trying to get your goals to come to fruition, like one of the next steps besides thinking about it is writing it down. Also writing it down in more than one place. Then like this next level is talking about it with a lot of people. Like you're bringing it to fruition and you're focused on it. So that's why a lot of you guys opted in to be in that Grow Week thread. And you see, I'm like, where are your sticky notes? Like, what are you doing? Like it has to stay on the forefront of your mind. So if right now, let's say the highest cycle week anybody had ever had is 2 cycles. And they're saying Grow Week, I'm hitting 5 cycles. You know, I'm going to hit the 5 cycle bonus for the first time. Anna's shaking her head because this is going to be her. But you know, if you're going to hit the 5 cycle bonus on August 17th, then you have to have that written out somewhere. Like I hit the 5 cycle bonus with ease on August 17th. I'm so grateful to earn, you know, the 5 cycle bonus. Like Anna needs to tell her roommate, Chris, like there needs to be sticky notes up, like her needs to be on the back of her phone. And then she's got to tell her other team members and tell her friends and be like, oh, by the way, I'm grabbing this extra $500 this week. I would just like you to know that this is what I'm doing. And you start to bring these things to fruition. You start to bring them to light, because all of a sudden, not only do you not want to let yourself down, but we put pressure on ourselves if we've told someone else that it will keep you on track. So if you don't tell anyone about it, well, you might be like, it's okay, I'll do it next time. But if you tell people I'm going to do this and all those people are holding you accountable, like you're going to get out of that comfort zone. You're going to do work that you probably wouldn't do on your own. And so there's not necessarily like, these are the 18 steps you have to do. And if you only do 17 of them, you're not going to hit your goals. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying just thinking about it is not enough, right? I'm a huge fan of SMART goals. And if you guys don't know what that acronym is, it stands for specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, I can't do 4, and timely. Okay. Did you guys ever know that? Yeah, that's how I hold up 4. Anyways, specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and timely. And that's how your goals should be. So if I just say I'm rank advancing, right? I'm going to rank advance during Grow Week. Well, that's not specific. What does that mean? Are you going manager? Are you growing your cycles? Are you rank advancing somebody else? Like getting really, really clear on that. And again, is it measurable? So if you say, I'm gonna grow my cycles, like by how many? Like by half, by 1, by 10, by 5, like what is it that you're trying to do? If you're cycling 3 or 4 times now and you want to go 1 star, then you know that you have to hit 10 cycles. It's measurable. Just being like, I'm gonna grow my cycles, it won't work, okay? Then is it attainable? So if you right now are cycling 10 to 20 times, which is a lot of you, and then you go, I'm hitting 5 star. No, you're not. You're not going to cycle 100 times in the next 3 weeks. Okay. Like then you have to be really realistic. You might cycle 100 times a year in 3 weeks from now. That's very possible, but not in the next 21 days. And I don't want people to set themselves up for failure. Okay. So specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, kind of same type of thing, the time frame you're going to do it, what you're doing, and then timely. So that's the only part that I've given you. It's like, here's the week that we really want to do it. As you guys just saw with the Dash to Director or, our executive challenge, we're all moving in the right direction. So even if you don't hit this goal on the 17th, the point of stretching yourself and growing yourself is you're going to get closer than if you don't do anything. So I just encourage you guys, as you map this out, to really think about what it is that you want. Is it possible? Who are you talking to about it? And what is your plan to get there? And if you want help going through that and like looking at your business, reach out to me, reach out to someone who we can really help you map out where you're at and strategize that you're able to achieve that. So the next whole thing is like, how do you keep track of things? So, when I think about growing your cycles, and a lot of you guys have seen me do the formula of like what we need to do to grow your net cycle growth. If you're at that point, some of you are brand new and you're not, I don't want to spend a lot of time on that tonight. But for some of you who are cycling, 8, 12 times consistently, and you're saying, how do I get to 2 star? And you want us to be able to map that out for you and show you how many people you need in your business or how many people you need to get to a certain rank in order for that to happen. Like we can show you how to do that. Like when I think about how I keep track of my goals, it's very similar to what we do in the Leader in Action form. So many of you have seen it. I have a huge butcher piece of paper against my wall. I can turn this around and show you right now. And I track my enrollments every single week and every month, and the rank advancements. So like I write out 1 to 10 1 to 10 for each month, so I can fill in 10 enrollments because that's my goal. Like I always want 10 enrollments in a month. And then I write out the rank advancement. So I can write who went consultant, who went manager. Like if I'm looking up there and I see blanks, especially towards the end of the month, like it's July right now. And if I had not rank advanced anybody, like I'm laser focused on getting my people paid. That's how I track it. I know a lot of people use a notebook. I know a lot of people use an Excel sheet. There's no right or wrong on this. But again, if you're saying I'm going manager, that means 2 of your personally enrolled have to each find their 2 people. You have to create 2 consultants. So if you're not looking at your personally enrolled consultants every single day, if you're not dialing in on who of your customers you're going to get paid, you're not going to hit manager. I mean, unless by chance that person just randomly enrolls their husband and daughter on their own, and they go in and convert to an associate and manage to like put 1 on the left, 1 on the right, and they enroll their 2 neighbors. I mean, realistically, sure, could it happen? But you have to really have your map. Like you have to create this plan. So many of you are managers saying, I'm going director. I can go director. And some of you that just went director are saying, I'm going executive. Then your map to crystal executive needs to be printed out. Like all of your personally enrolled people need to be right there so that there's this maturity, there's this growth from not just focusing on, I got to post on social media, I need to connect, I need to follow up, I need to enroll, that now you're shifting to getting your people paid. In order to grow, you have to help other people grow. And so when you're tracking that, and if like right now someone says, I'm going director, I'm creating, 4 new consultants, I have 2 now, and I'm going to have 6 on August 17th. Who are those people you're getting paid, right? Who are those people that you're working with, that you're helping to get on the Eat for Free program, that you're teaching how to post on social media, you're teaching how to do an ATM, you're teaching how to do a 3-way call, because that's as much of this as enrolling, like developing your people. And that's where the retention really, really comes from, okay? Another huge piece of this is who is your accountability partner, okay? And that is so important. And there is such a fine line of enabling and encouraging and supporting, right? Like enabling and like falling into people's excuses, and really motivating and really allowing people to be their best self, okay? So I always use like fitness analogies. If I see my client, right, who when I was a personal trainer out in the gym all the time and I saw what they were capable of, when they were with me, my job was to push them. Whether it was to go longer, it was to go faster, it was to go heavier, it was to try and get them to achieve something they couldn't do on their own. And I'm there to support them, right? So if I see that they normally do shoulder exercises with 10-pound weights and I gave them 12, I'm like, oh, I can never be able to do that. And I go, okay, you're right. Here's 8. Like, think about what that does to someone's mindset, But if I'm like, nope, yes, you can, let's go. And you're here to support, you're here to be able to give them the lift, but to stretch them, all of a sudden they do it. They're like, oh man, I didn't know I can do that. Your business is the same way. Jessica Rigner and I are great accountability partners because we pour belief. We're always uplifting. We're not going to be like mean to each other, but we don't allow each other to play small. So when we've been going for goals, right, and we've been like trying to win a contest in the company, or we've been trying to rank advance, there was times, you guys, I would message Jessica Rigner in the beginning of the week. I'm enrolling these 4 people. This girl is going consultant, and this girl is manager. And Jessica would reach out to me and she'd say, how's your week going? I'm like, oh, I have no enrollments and someone said a return and no one is rank advancing. Has that happened to anybody else? I promise it happens to everybody, myself included. Jessica has option A of like, oh, next week is a new week. Go have fun. Go to happy hour, right? Like, don't worry about it. Or she has option B of like, dude, it's Saturday morning. Like, you have 36 hours. Like, get to work. Like, go hang out in the vitamin section and start prospecting people in Whole Foods. Like, go to back to your inactives. Like, get to work. Like, why are you quitting? Like, you don't do, my friend not my friend. Oh my gosh, this is how much I love these instructors. I just called her my friend. She's not my friend. A woman's class that I take on the Peloton. I've never met. She's definitely not my friend. Jess Sims. She always says, it's the Saturday 60. It's not the Saturday 55, right? Like towards the end. And she's like, this is not the Saturday 55. That doesn't have a ring. It's the Saturday 60. Like, she holds you accountable to go all the way to the end. Laura has been another great accountability partner for me, and there's times that we've really checked in, like we were really working hard for top achievers and we sent our leader in action form every single week. And it was like, what's going on? How can I help you? How's this? And it doesn't matter because it's going to get tough. And the people right now that you think are the ones that are going to rank advance might not. It might be someone else brand new. But you need someone to really not only hold you accountable, and that means be that personal trainer, like give them a little bit of tough love, be a coach, not a best friend, and allow them to really step out of their comfort zone and do more than they would have if they weren't checking in with you, while also being really creative, by being really inspiring, by getting a lot of ideas on what else they can do. So often, like Laura doesn't think about the social media stuff the way my brain does when I'm prospecting or recruiting, because that's not where she likes to connect. But I'm like, hey, have you gone back into that dog group recently? Or like, have you gone into that air fryer group? What about that one girl? And she'll be like, oh, yeah. And she's like, okay. And then she'll message me, guess who just enrolled, and I know these people because we're doing ATMs together. And the same with me, right? There's sometimes like, I'm like, I can't get a hold of anybody. And she's like, well, remember this one time you did that? Or what incentive have you done? What contest have you done? I'm like, oh yeah, I need to do that. There's so many benefits of having an accountability partner, but I encourage you guys to grab one and really lock arms. Like watching these small groups right now in Kisa's organization that are really growing because they are believing in each other while they're also putting a little bit of pressure, and there is a little bit of healthy competition. Like, I think that is so good because then when all of it comes to fruition, it's like, oh, that was all so worth it. And there's tough times, right? I just said, like, I have been like, all this is going to happen. And that's the week somebody quits, somebody returns, someone else has diarrhea. Like, it happens. And then the next time when someone brand new goes crystal manager and 3 new consultants come in and you have your highest enrollment week, it's like all of this work comes always to fruition. Okay. So then the last little bit of this that I just kind of want to leave you with, and it's something that we talk about often, but because it's so important, is like, why are you doing this? Like, if you don't know that, no one else does either. And get into a place for a couple things. Number one, you're never going to waver. Like, I'm never quitting, ever. No one has ever questioned my commitment to Isagenix, right? If you guys didn't see Eric Hoover's post yesterday or the day before, you need to go look at it. When he finally addressed some people that had left Isagenix and some people in the lawsuits, like, they had never really talked about that outside of like top leadership calls. And I was so proud of him, right? Because he owned that hurt. Some of the people that left were like friends of his, right? He owned that hurt. Then he talked about how he got better. And then it's like, this is where I'm going. But in the messiness, like no one ever questioned Eric Coover's loyalty, right? And even if he wasn't their son, because of his passion, because of his commitment, because of his excitement, and that's an attraction, right? Like people want to be around someone like that. If you are like, oh my God, I love Isagenix, and the next day, like, oh, I don't actually think this is for me, no one's joining you because that energy is going out there and they don't want to partner with you because they don't know if you're going to be here in a week. They don't know if you're going to be here in a month, right? And so part of that conviction is like, why are you doing this? And it's so funny right now. I'm working with a brand new girl who's halfway to Crystal Manager. She did a party last week. You know, she enrolled like 6 people on one day. We were on the phone for like 4 hours, just got them all in, you know. And she has an amazing product story, like absolutely incredible, and with some major health issues, not just like, well, not, I don't mean not just weight loss, but it's deeper than that, okay? And every time we get on the call, she is so like, here was my journey before. This is what these have done for me. I feel so much better. I'm so excited to talk to you about it. It's all product focused, kind of like Amy Conley, right? I mean, she's so excited. She's had such this. But people trust her. She's not even necessarily leading with the opportunity yet. She's just so excited about them. And it has been so significant. People believe in her, and that's her why. She's like, I feel so much better every single day. I want other people to experience this. And she has like long-term gut issues, like just deeper health issues, that she has empathy in saying, I know I can help them. Okay. But that's her why. Like she knows that she has contribution right now. If some people are trying to make a little extra money, that's amazing. But if you don't talk about that, people don't want to support you, and you take away the opportunity for them to say, oh my gosh, can I do that too? I want to be able to do that. If you don't know why you do this, you're always going to have a distraction. Like nobody actually messages me and tells me to do this call. In case you were wondering, nobody's like, oh, hey, by the way, your team calls tonight, you know, because I know why I want to do this. I mean, of course, I look forward to seeing all of you guys, but because it's important and I love Isagenix and I'm never going back to work, you know, like ever, like that's just not even in the cards. But if you're like, oh, I guess I should get on the call, but I kind of want to go to happy hour. I guess I should get on the call, but I kind of want to watch TV. You know, like if that's where you're at and you were to say, would I enroll with that person? Like, would I lead that person? And you have to be really, really realistic about that. And so even with the why, you can be super part-time or you can be super full-time, but it's like what makes Isagenix fun. So I was coaching one of my sweethearts on the team, like someone I absolutely adore, last week. And I asked her straight up, and I just said, is Isagenix fun for you or does it feel like work? And she said both, which is okay. And I was like, what is it that you absolutely love about Isagenix? And what is it that you don't love? Like, what is it that's not super fun for you? And we are different that way, you know? And so I was straight up, again, someone who loves the products, has a great transformation, really wants people to have this. I'm like, if I never had to walk someone through a cleanse day again, like I'm good. I don't actually want to tell you to eat 2 little snackies, take the pill, eat 2 little snackies. Like it's in the flyer. Like, why do I have to do that? I want you to have a good experience. I don't want to tell you how much water to drink. Like we've made documents, there's an app, it's in the thing. Like this is not rocket science in my opinion, right? Where I could coach someone one-on-one all day long. I love it. That doesn't drain me. That excites me to see the growth, to see the personal development, to see them believe in themselves. Now there's people on here right now that scares the crap out of you, you know, and you're like, oh no, I'm good just talking about like eating the 2 little wafers and drinking the water. Like I just want to stay in that side of the things. And that's why we work as a team. But nonetheless, it's like, you know, that why I'll do it, because at the end of the day, that's someone else's experience. And even though I have had thousands of conversations of like, you get 1 chocolate and then you can have this and then mix it with that, right? That's someone's experience. And when they can call the next week and be like, oh my gosh, is it possible that I already have lost a whole pant size? Like I have so much energy, and you're like, okay, that's why we do what we do. It's not about us, it's about somebody else. But you have to be really, really clear on that, because that's what keeps it fun. If you don't know why you're doing this, it is going to be annoying and it is going to suck. And you're like, man, what am I going to post today? Or this person just returned, or this person's not calling me back, or they think I'm selling everything. And so as we go into Grow Week and you think like, what made me want to do this in the first place? You know, like what made me want to share Isagenix? Part of you had a huge product experience and said, I want other people to have this. We all have been there, you know? Part of us got paid, maybe even accidentally on an ISA wallet card. And we're like, how'd that happen? Like, how did that do? I don't even know. But now I want that to happen again. And I want other people to be able to have that. Maybe you saw someone's story and it inspired you to go, you know what? I don't want to work for corporate America the rest of my life. You know, I know what it could be like to have the life that Laura Lori has, to have the life that Kisa has. And you say, if they can do it, I can do it. Right? But if you don't know that, no one else does. And I encourage you to keep that in the forefront of your mind because it keeps it fun, it keeps it super exciting. But you also, I can't even tell you how powerful it is when you share it with other people because there's trust. And then find out why they're doing it. You know, like, hey, this is why I do this. And I'm just curious, you know, like, what is it that really interests you? Or what is it that I could help you do? Like, what is it in your life that we can work on to improve for you that you would want to be a part of this? And there's a lot to be said. If you get vulnerable, they'll get vulnerable with you, you know? So that's kind of it right now as we get into Grow Week. I just really want to make sure that you guys are organized, okay? You have time blocked off. Like there's either frozen crock pot meals or you've got a little extra childcare in there. And tell like your significant others, if you don't live alone, like what you're doing, tell them now. Don't tell them when they're pissed at you because you've been on the phone all week. Like, hey, where'd my wife go? You know, like I would tell them now, hey, this is our Grow Week. As a team, we're setting some big goals. So I'm probably going to be on my phone more than not. You know, I'm probably not going to wash my hair for 3 days. Like lay it out. But then like, why? Hey, this is why I'm doing this. This is why it's important to me. And this is what I'm doing for us. You know, like if you're single, that's for you, right? If you have a significant other and say, what is it that we can go do when I hit the bonus? Like, where can I take you on a date night? Like, where can I thank you for supporting me? You know, if you're going for a bigger goal, and there's things like trips for families or you're paying for, you know, kids activities or there's something they want, like let them know. I remember last year or 2 years ago, and there was this trip to Disney. And a lot of the kids were able to talk to or a lot of the parents were able to talk to their kids and be like, we're doing this for Disney. Don't forget, like a mommy's on the phone so much because we're working towards Disney. And it means a lot because everybody's excited and there's not like resentment that people aren't around, but that communication really kind of has to be out there. I would love for you guys to get accountability partners. If you don't already have one, it will help you so much. And if you need help finding one or whatnot, reach out. I will do my best to kind of like pair people up. You don't necessarily have to know each other, but there's so much to be said about like checking in on like, hey, what do you have going on in the pipeline this week? How can I help you? You know, who are you looking to rank advance? Who can I help you with an ATM on? Can I do a vision casting call with you? You know, and just like really locking arms with someone is super, super, super awesome. And if you guys have not, especially if you're in the Grow thread, I would love for you to share your why. Like just tell people in there why you're doing what you're doing. In your why right now for the next 21 days, next, 25 days or whatever, it doesn't necessarily have to be what it was 3 months ago or what it's going to be 3 years from now. Like I truly believe there's some things you're going through in the short run that you can stay focused on, and then long term. So it might be right now, like, you know what, I'm hitting the executive leadership bonus and I'm paying off a credit card. You know, it could be that I am getting a 5-cycle bonus and I am taking a staycation because I deserve it. You know, it could be because this is the momentum that's going to help me be able to quit my job by the end of the year. Like, it doesn't matter. There's no judgment on it, but I would love you guys to like share that, because I think also learning other people's stories help you share this opportunity with other people, because you start to see people and you go, oh my gosh, you remind me of her. Oh my gosh, you remind me of him. Oh my gosh, you remind me of so and so and so. You know, like when I started building Isagenix, you guys, I didn't have kids. I still don't. I mean, I have these groaner, that's not a word, older, soon to be bonus kids, but I didn't, you know. And so my brain didn't even work in a mom brain. You know, I was in my late 20s, like early 30s. And most of my friends actually at that time didn't have kids. So like when I started working closely with Kisa, and she's like, I don't want to be the mom that drops my kid off and go to work. Like I want to walk her to school and I want to be there to pick her up. Like I remember listening to that because it was so different than what my life looked like. But all of a sudden I could share that. You know, when I would be on the phone with other moms, I was like, you know, I'm working with this girl in California right now who is so excited to build this business because she doesn't want to just drop her kid off at the corner at school. She wants to be able to walk her and pick her up, you know, and moms would be like, oh my gosh, that would be amazing. You know, and they would start to tell me about what was happening in their life. and why they would want to be able to do this. But I could only forecast that picture because I met somebody else who shared that story with me. You know, when I talked about being buried in debt, nobody knew. Nobody knew I carried $100,000 in debt, you guys. I mean, that's obscene. Granted, some of it was student loans, but between that and the credit cards, I mean, it was so upside down. But the minute I did, people came out of the woodworks and got vulnerable and said, did you really do that? How did you do that? And I could show them exactly what I did. And I started getting builders who would send me pictures of their credit card statements. And then they would say paid in full a year later or whatever that looked like. So when you get to know other people's why, and they want to be a mom, they want to pay on a debt, they want to go on vacation, they want to go on the honeymoon they never went on, they want to upgrade their wedding rings, they want to, whatever it may be, right? You start to share those stories and find people like that. Do you know how many people I think of right now that I would not have known if my sister wasn't on this team? My sister had a great job. She had a great job and a great income. She wasn't money motivated at all, but she was burnt out in corporate America and she was unfulfilled. And when she started doing Isagenix, she was so drawn to time freedom and she was so drawn to contribution. And she was like, I can make people's lives better, you know? And she didn't want to set an alarm. She wanted to be able to design her life by her day. And so where I used to be like, oh, I can't talk to that person. They make a lot of money. They never are going to want to sell Isagenix. They're already really wealthy. I thought, you know what? That person might be really unhappy. That person might not have any time, you know, and would they be willing to give up some of that money to do something alongside or, you know, to be able to create more time in their life. And so as you start to get to know other people's stories, you start to see all the other people that we can really serve and we can really pay forward. So I'm super excited for it, you guys. I'm trying to be open and transparent with my goals too. I'm definitely not like, hey, all of you work and I'm not gonna, you know, sit there and do it right alongside of you. And it's fun. And that's the best part, is to really just lock arms and do that. So get clear about it, write your goals out, get some accountability partners, be realistic, and just have fun. Isagenix should not be work. I mean, it will challenge you and it will test you, but just always ask yourself, like, am I having fun? You know, because if you're not having fun, no one else wants to be a part of it. But if you're excited to get on the calls, you're excited when people reach out to you, you know, and even if you have to like change your mindset sometimes, like I've had what I call whiny people sometimes, right? Like Laura's always my sounding board with this, and I'll get like, I want to have a headache, or, oh, this person wants to know how many grams are in that, or do you know where to find this, and things that I'm like, man, how do these people wipe on their own? Like, you know, I just get so impatient because I'm so independent. And then I'll have to go, I am so grateful that our team is growing. I'm so grateful that there's so many high maintenance people asking me how many grams of protein are on the shake in the label that they're holding, right? Like, I am so grateful that we have, and you shift your mindset, because then the energy is there that when the right person calls or the right person needs a vision casting call or whatever, you're still fired up, you know, you're still really having fun with it. And I will promise you one last thing about this. If you're not having fun with it, you're making it about you. Because if you truly, truly are making it about others, it is impossible to not have this. You know, I got the best text yesterday from Kisa, and I was in a car full of girls coming back from the bachelorette weekend, and she's like, hey, I know you're out, but just to update you. And it was like success, 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 success. And she's just telling me like all the momentum and everything that's happening in the organization. And I was like, thank you so much for taking the time to do that. Like, best text ever, you know? And if that was a job, right? And like, you think, I hate this like hierarchy, but I think about corporate America, right? And if I was like a VP and Kisa was like a director and she's like giving me the update on like the sales team, I'd be like, man, why is like someone emailing me on Sunday night? You know, like I don't need to check my email till Monday. But because I love this so much, and then it was like immediately I'm in the car with these girlfriends and I'm sending some voice memos to people because I'm just excited, and I'm like, it fires me up. And I think like there are so many times that I've been in that, you know what I mean? And to see the duplication, that this is fun. And so if you're overwhelmed by things, or you're burnt out by things, or you're frustrated, stop focusing on you and really focus on what you have and start focusing on other people, because that's where the joy is. Like, you get to the core of helping someone with their physical or financial or spiritual or emotional, whatever goals. Like, you cannot stop doing this because it is so dang fun to really, really, truly change lives. So if y'all want to hang up now, that's my spiel. And if you do want to stay on, I would love to just open up a Q&A